Everybody dancing, but I just wanna dance with you. Look. And everybody moving, but I just wanna move with you. And everybody whine, but I wanna slow wine with you. Never been to the island, I wanna take flight with you, with you.
How do you catch a falling star? How do you fix a broken heart? How can we go back to rewrite this from the start? Back when our world glowed from just a spark. Stuck inside this atmosphere, watching my light just disappear. And all the things that I'd forgotten while you were here, now I remember them all so clear. Just give me one more time.
Radio Lounge, Bull and the Bartender Show. Welcome back. Told you it wasn't going to be very long. I'm not going to do the show very long either. So, I do want to thank a couple of people real quick before I go too much longer. Mark the Bartender, thank you so much. Jazz, thank you so much as well. Chewy Rocks, especially, big supporter of the show ever since the USF days, and I thank you for that. In fact, the camera does not give credit due too much because of how bright the sign is, but it's supposed to say, it says Bulls Radio Lounge engraved on plexiglass with a light shining on top of it. One of those LED ones, but Chewy Rock sent that in as a Christmas gift. And like I said, a very big supporter of the show. We thank Chewy Rock so much. Thank you to Fine TV for coming on to the show via satellite from his bunker. Eager to see more videos. I think it'll be a hit for all kids. Check them out. And thank you guys mostly for listening to the show. We've been doing this for like a year and a half and trying to get better, trying to get more things rolling and popping and do more things and try more things out and see what goes on. So, thank you guys for listening. You can call the show as well, 813-419-3602 to talk to us. Want to hear how things are going through these another whole month of everything shutting down. Bulls Radio Lounge at gmail.com. Bulls Radio Lounge at gmail.com. Or even on the air. Or I think you could do Bull and Mark 3 at gmail.com was the original one. Either one. Bull and Mark 3 at gmail.com or Bulls Radio Lounge at gmail.com. Or you can call the show 813-419-3602. Just want to hear, your stories, your adventures, what you're doing, what's going on. So, especially on this, it's April 1st already. The parks aren't open. Nothing really to do. Movie theaters aren't open. Nothing is open. Nothing at all. Which is very weird because it's supposed to be, blooming. It's supposed to be like, you go to a restaurant and you can, it's hard to find a seat sometimes. But no, they got, everything's all bunkered up. Everybody's all tucked in for the night. Stuff like that. So, which again, it's I'm not trying to downplay it or nothing like that, but I mean, sometimes, you take a cynical stance to it because, sometimes you have to look at the numbers and see what the numbers are and go on from there and then see what happens. Sometimes you have to sit there and go patient by patient. And in my opinion, I'm no doctor, but I would think that you'd have to go patient to patient, on a case by case basis, depending on, what their symptoms are and stuff like that, what their existing conditions are, health, do they smoke, do they drink, do they take medications, what are they taking, vitamins, painkillers, what, let's see what happens from there and then go on from there. So, and then, you just pick up on things and see what, the case by case numbers. But they build up, because I think, most of this is probably, away from or out of Florida. And then we have just cases building up because it's the cases, they're going to build up without a doubt. So, but, DeSantis has issued a, whole Florida state, shutdown or stay-at-home order, I believe it's called. Here's the audio for that. Oh, here we go. Hold on.
Pressure the last few days for Governor Ron DeSantis to take stronger action to protect Floridians against COVID-19. Wednesday, he finally imposed a statewide order,
directing all Floridians to limit movements and personal interactions outside the home to only those necessary to obtain or provide essential services or conduct essential activities.
The order includes a long list of what is considered an essential service and specifically mentions 4 essential activities with the requirement that groups are 10 people or less. Attending religious services, participating in recreational activities, taking care of pets, and caring for or assisting a loved one.
At some point, you do need to just exercise good judgment.
The governor's order supersedes any local orders that conflict with it. But according to Tampa Mayor Jane Castor, the rules already in place in Hillsborough are more stringent, so folks should continue to follow them.
The easiest way I can explain that is if you can perform that service, task, or job and stay 6 feet away from others, then you can consider that essential.
The Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office tells us the department is reviewing the order to see how it impacts local enforcement, if at all. And as of now, no one needs any type of letter, pass, or permit to be out and about.
Everyone should be accepting their level of personal responsibility and doing everything that they can.
Now, I wonder if they're going to be doing this to where sometime in the future, they're going to be like, hey, look, you need a pass to come out on the street. Where's your papers? You have to show them a paper. I wonder if we're going to be doing that. I hope not.
Can to avoid transmitting this virus to others.
Across the Bay, St. Pete Mayor Rick Kreisman tweeting, they're also reviewing the order to determine if any changes need to be made in the way the city and county have been operating. The statewide Safer at Home order is in effect through April 30th.
I think we find ourselves in a situation where we have a national pause, and we need to deal with this front and center.
The Pinellas County Board of Commissioners as well as the Hillsborough County Emergency Policy Group are both set to meet tomorrow and will likely discuss if any changes need to be made to the current policies to better align with the governor's directive. You can head to our website to see a complete list of what jobs, tasks, and services are considered essential.
That was Fox 13, reporting that. So Governor DeSantis issues stay-at-home order for Florida, which I believe the president said on Monday as well. But I mean, it's, we've come to this time to where we're having something like this. It's unprecedented. I mean, nobody knew this was going to happen, just weird things just going on, especially with like this whole thing with the coronavirus is strange. But other than that, they had this, what was it, the Lion King, not the Lion King, but King of the Lions or something like that. I'm trying to remember the show. It's the one on the new one on Netflix, Tiger King, I think it is, and it's with a guy that what's his name, Joe Exotic. That's the guy's name, and he stars in this thing, and I mean it's about him and how he grew up and stuff like that, and it's not a bad show. I mean, it's really cool.
Hi.
This is just a
Oh,
piece of
thank
it.
you for coming.
This is Carol
I
Baskins.
don't pay anybody to do animal care because people will do that for
From
free.
a Tampa location
Carol
called
Baskin of Big Cat Rescue has
Yeah, Big Cat
an
Rescue.
army of people working for free.
She is not a stupid woman. She makes everybody else do her job.
That's Joe
Because
Exotic.
we're going to have so many people here today, we have brought in 76 of our own volunteers, and they brought their family. This is Regina and Bonnie. And
So,
Bonnie has
and in this video from Netflix was a great documentary. Like, I've watched quite a few documentaries on Netflix, and they've all turned out very well. Very good, detailed, very good filming. I mean, the Netflix does produce a lot of good films. The original ones, the documentary ones. But anyways, so Joe Exotic was this lion keeper guy from exotic. He had like a whole bunch of tigers and lions and different exotic animals, and he put together the zoo, and the Carol Baskins is another one from Big Cat Rescue that put together a zoo to rescue tigers that people would they both have the tigers that people buy and sometimes they don't want, or the Joey Exotic would like be breeding tigers and then selling them, back in the day, I guess. So you got both of those elements, plus, and then he starts going after her, she starts going after him, blah, 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 via, social media and all that stuff like that. So, and then now they've got a story of where, like in the Netflix series, or the about his life, he talks about where her former husband was, and it's a cold case. Says where is Don Lewis, which is the former husband? Sheriff says cold case in Tiger King documentary still needs credible lead. So he's asking people to come forward if they remember anything. Let's see if we can play the audio right here.
So
that's a commercial. But the documentary has had a social media buzzing for over a week following views to dive into the story of the Big Cat owners.
Last 4 to 5 days, his office on average gets about 6 new tips a day on the disappearance of Don Lewis, but really the only problem is, so far, none of those tips have proven to be credible. What happened to Carol Baskin's former husband, Don Lewis, who vanished 23 years ago? Netflix's Tiger King does seem to imply that Carol Baskin may have had something to do with her husband's disappearance, something she has always denied.
Now, what they think and what you're going to hear was going to baffle you, like when I heard it, and what they're accusing of her is going to be, I mean, just you'll have to see.
The show mainly focuses on the battles between Baskin, who runs Tampa's Big Cat Rescue Sanctuary, and the likes of big cat collectors, like the aptly named Joe Exotic, who tried to kill her via a murder-for-hire plot. But it does raise questions as to whether or not Baskin had anything to do with her late husband's disappearance. She has never been charged.
What we're hoping is even maybe someone has had a change of heart, maybe a relationship status has changed, anything that will prompt someone to call with a legitimate lead, a piece of evidence, an interview, anything that will help us solve this case.
Sheriff Chad Chronister says over the last week, his office is averaging about 6 tips a day, though none of them have proven credible. A detective supervisor has been assigned to handling the potential leads. He says the case remains open and evidence is being reviewed.
If this series generates, hey, you should take a look at whatever the end of that sentence may be, we're absolutely going to revisit and take a look at it.
Lewis was last seen on August 18th, 1997.
I think it's coming up to where they're going to say, hey, look, this is what, is going on.
His van found at a Pasco County airport. In 2011, the sheriff says Carol Baskin was offered a lie detector test, but she refused.
There was no way she had any involvement in Don's disappearance.
Over the weekend, Carol's husband posted this video responding to what he calls false claims portrayed by Tiger King's creators.
As far as I can tell, their only goal was to make something as inflammatory and salacious as possible so that Netflix would pay them millions for it.
He and Carol really feel betrayed by it all. They thought they were signing up for a Blackfish-type documentary on the petting and selling of tiger cubs. Instead, they're calling the show salacious and inflammatory and full of false claims. In Ybor City, Josh Cassio, Fox 13 News.
So what they're saying is, basically they think that she fed, her husband, Don, to like cut him up and fed him to lions. Because he hasn't been seen. But, I don't know about that. That's a little bit, fishy for, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I'm going to take heed of warning. I have no ill will towards this person. No dog in this fight. I think what you're doing, if you're doing it for, I don't think any really animals in an exotic nature should really sort of be confined unless you know exactly what you're doing. I mean, because I've had animals all my life, and I if I'm getting a new animal, whether he's small or big, I want to make sure I do the research and find out what's what triggers them, what goes on, their history. So if you're doing something like that, then you need to, make sure you know what you're getting into. If you're successful, then that's great. But if you're not, or whatever the case may be, I learned it cost them like $2,000, a month for food. And you've got like 48 cats. I think that's $2,000 per cat, I think it is, or something like that. Like almost like $500,000 a year. If you're feeding 48 something cats or however many cats it's for, it's whatever that factors into, it's $500,000 a year. So I think it's like 38 cats. I think that's what they said. But so doing all that. I mean, listen, if this lady over here at Big Cat Rescue is doing this because she actually is rescuing cats from owners that, private owners that can't have them or can't house them, then that's great. That's fantastic, and I appreciate that. But if you're doing all this, maliciously, then I don't know. That's another thing. I mean, because it's, and the same thing with him. Same thing with Joe Exotic. He was doing the same thing. It's like when Blackfish came out. Yeah, okay, maybe that's how SeaWorld got their stuff. But the whales. But I mean, I've seen the animal shows before, and I have no issues with them. I think they're great performers, and they're putting their lives on the line. They know what they're getting into. Now, I don't know what they did in the back. I don't know what they did after the show. I wasn't there. But I do know that, having worked for a prior, park at Busch Gardens, they do take care of their animals on a daily basis. And they even have staff who like stays 24, overnight for the animals, So I do know that they take care of their animals. Now, with SeaWorld, I don't know. With Busch Gardens, you can see them like in the morning, taking out all the freshly, I think it was like in the morning and like during, sometime during the mid-morning, lunch, like mid-dinner, dinner, something like that, to where it was constantly just, food and trees and stuff like that all over the place. So yeah, but I mean the blackfish came out and sort of took a shit on SeaWorld. But I mean, you know, that unfortunately that died because of the whale. You know, I mean, I don't know, it's a hard thing because, you know, you don't. I think you have to wear your hair wet. But I think she had her hair dry. And I think the whale thought it was like, a toy. You know, stuff like that. So I don't know. You know what you're getting into. And I'm sure that lady loved what she did. But anyway, so, you know, all this stuff is going around. All this stuff is happening. The parks aren't open. You know, maybe they're finishing up construction with different things. I don't know. You know, but there's nothing to do. Nothing at all. No movies. No nothing. So, I mean, it's you know, it's a strange world. We're living in a strange time. But in any case, I do thank you for joining the show from the bunker, 25 feet down, hiding out, waiting for the wave to pass on by. Got the, you know, 5 foot thick concrete walls. I'm not going to tell you where it's at. You know, a 20-ton door. You know, the big old locking mechanism. Anyways, thank you so much for joining the show, listening. Don't forget to check out Fine TV and on YouTube.com. And we'll see you next time. I don't know what we're going to do a show next, but it's probably going to be in the next couple days. You know, just kind of get through this. We'll get through this as a show, as a state, as a nation, as a city. This whole thing will eventually, soon, go away. We'll be back to normal. So I am Bull. Mark the bartender is decontaminating the bar, making sure it's up to code. Jazz is doing the same thing with, you know, his equipment, lawnmowers, stuff like that. His house. I'm in the 25-foot bunker, chilling, making sure the quarantine is over. So, don't forget, we're going to get through this. It'll be over with. So, we'll see you hopefully sometime, not tomorrow night, but maybe Friday. I don't know, we'll see. You guys stay safe. 6 feet away, as they say. Social distance, quote unquote. And enjoy life. Enjoy family, enjoy your kids. So, just chill out, have a drink, have a smoke, and just chill out and just relax. Everything's going to be all right. You got this, kid. We'll see you next time. Don't forget to check out Bulls Radio Lounge at youtube.com. You can check out all the videos that we have on there. Don't forget the premiere of R2's World will be on the channel here in a minute, and probably by tomorrow. And then shows after that. We've got the trailer filmed. It's in the can. It's almost ready to go. Got a little bit more editing to do. All right, we'll talk to you next time. I am Bull, host of the Bull and the Bartender Show. And I hope you guys be safe out there. Like I said, take care of your family, take care of your friends, take care of your kids, you know, your grandmas and grandpas. Get safe, be safe, wipe down, wash your hands, do all this stuff that you're supposed to be doing. We'll talk to you again. Bull from Bull and the Bartender Show, 25 feet in the ground, live from the bunker. We'll see you next time.